Alright, Taliodo Champs, let's talk about Apple's new products. We're talking a new iMac, new iPad, and what we would like to see from these products in the next MacBook Pro, next 27-inch iMac. Let's talk about the key stuff. I'm not going to be like everyone else, go through every product and tell you specs and that. Don't worry about that. We just want to know the good stuff and what's coming next. Now, I am recording this screen recording with an M1 MacBook Pro. Listen to the mic. Does the mic sound good? Well, the new iMac even has a better mic, apparently. Now, some of the other announcements, they had the AirTags, right? Let me tell you now, the first thing I do with an AirTag is glue it to my Apple TV remote, because I can never find that thing. And finally, they have a new remote for the Apple TV. They have a new Apple TV, and it's 4K HDR 120Hz. Woof. And you can calibrate it with your phone. And just looking at all these products, Apple makes such cheap products now. You could buy all of these products for the price of one RTX 3080. Let's talk about the iPad and the things I want to see in the next MacBook Pro. Now, the iPad's got an M1, cool. We know what an M1 is. I don't have to explain that to you. Now you can have up to 16 gigs RAM. For the first time, they show you how much RAM is in an iPad. Wow. But the best thing about the iPad is that mini LED display. 1600 nits of peak brightness, Pro XDR, 120Hz, Dolby Vision, all that sort of stuff. And that's what we want to see in the next MacBook Pros, right? And the next iMac, the 27-inch iMac. Now, I don't really care if it's 120Hz on the, MacBook Pros. It's not necessary, considering you're not going to draw on it and stuff like that. It would be nice, but really...
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri, are you joking? I'm recording. She's listening to what I'm saying about the Apple products, isn't she? But to have this sort of quality display on a MacBook Pro or even a 27-inch iMac is just going to be absolutely bonkers amazing. We're going to have over 1000 nits peak brightness on a laptop. You know the next MacBook Pros are going to be just amazing. So think of the 16-inch MacBook Pro or a new MacBook Pro 14 with this Pro XDR display. And you can get Thunderbolt on these iPads. Woof. Anybody at Microsoft, are you listening? Thunderbolt on an iPad, and you can't even put it on a Surface. That is just embarrassing now, Microsoft. And another thing from the iPad I want to see in the next MacBook Pros is the 5G modem, okay? I want to be able to put a SIM in my next MacBook Pro and be able to use it out and about. That would just be amazing. Now, the downside to the iPad is it's an iPad still. Don't get sucked in. If you're a laptop person, do not get sucked in and buy an iPad, because once you add the keyboard weight and that, nah. You might as well just get a laptop. And the thing is, the iPad is clunky. The worst thing about the iPad is iOS. If this run Mac OS, the iPad with Mac OS, or dual boot, or be able to switch between the two operating systems in tablet mode, like Windows, you can do that. You can have it in tablet mode or you can have it in desktop mode. Imagine that, Mac OS and iOS on an iPad, and then you could actually run Windows as well. That would just be absolutely epic. I'll get one in for review, but one thing I will say about this iPad is it's going to be the ultimate external display for your Mac, okay? So you can have a HDR sidecar display for your Mac. So that means you can edit HDR stuff, connect it to your MacBook Pro, external display, HDR, Dolby Vision, woof. That's the only way to fly. That is just awesome. Now, let's talk about this iMac. Oh my God, I'm going to get stuck into it a bit as well, this iMac. I mean, have a look at this. Not the beautiful lady here. Have a look at those bezels. What is it with Apple? 2021, and they still have bezels. And a chin. Why? Please tell me why. At least they embrace them with a white bezel. I think you'll get used to it and it will look good. But yeah, why big bezels? I mean, those bezels are still big enough to embarrass most men. So the new iMacs, they come with new colours. They look pretty good. Got the M1 chip. We know what that does. It's going to perform more like the Mac Mini's M1 chip, which is slightly faster just because of the thermal headroom, right? But it's exactly the same chip. Now, there are two iMac models. There's one with no Thunderbolt and there's ones with the Thunderbolt and one with less GPU. That's the one without the Thunderbolt. Now, just looking at the design of this new iMac, or should I call it iMad or iPac? Because it looks exactly like an iPad on a stand. If you look at it from the side compared to, an iPad, it looks exactly the same as an iPad, and it just doesn't compute in my brain. It just looks like an iPad on a stand. And by the way, no swivel and no height adjustment, but it is phaser mountable. You know what? I'd probably get the blue or the grey if I was going to get one, I guess. Pink looks red to me. I don't know. So this is good. It's the budget model. Hopefully the 27-inch is going to be better. It does look like it has a really good display, but it's not like Pro XDR. So it's not HDR. I expect that to come with the 27-inch. and I expect a new processor for the 27-inch. These can go up to 16 gigs. It does have a external PSU now. You can put Ethernet into the power brick. Now it has studio quality mics, and it's going to be better than the mic you're listening to. You're listening to the mic from MacBook Pro 13, so they reckon it's the best mic they've ever put in a Mac product, and also the best sound on any Mac product, or any Apple product for that matter. When they say that, you know it's going to be awesome sound, because Apple just have the best sound on any of their products at the moment. Not only that, Dolby Atmos. So hopefully with the new Mac products, we're going to get, better sound, better mics. Now let me get stuck into this thing. If we have a look here, they had this whole segment on the webcam. Can you believe it? The whole segment on the webcam. And I have an iPhone, and I hate Face ID, okay? Touch ID works so much better on the iPhone. But anyway, they decided to put Touch ID on this Mac, which is cool. There are models with it and without it. Like if you go up in the spec, you'll get the one with the Touch ID. But here's the thing. Where Face ID is compromised on an iPhone, you have to bow to it, mask on, sunglasses. It doesn't work a lot of the times. It just makes sense to have Touch ID on the phone. But why don't you have Face ID on this iMac? Imagine you just sit in your chair, you look at your computer, it turns on. Face ID is perfect for a computer. Also, you can make all your purchases. Why am I using a fingerprint reader on the iMac? It is much better using your face. It's perfect for this, so I don't know what they're doing. But anyway, they're all the products. What do you think? What are you most pumped about with these things? I'm going to get these things and going to review them. What would you like to see from these products in the next iMac and the next MacBook Pro? Let me know down there in the comments. Are you excited about these? Are these things boring? Let me know. Catch you in the next one.